Starting.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Nevada Classical Academy Elko Fiscal Year 27 Final Budget Hearing. Today is May 19th, 2026, and it is 2:03 p.m. So I'll call this meeting to order with roll call and then the pledge. So let's start with Lisa.
Lisa Becker.
Kim Paris. Amy Nelson.
Brandel Thron.
Tim Geary.
Dorothy Stenninger.
Frank Thurston.
Okay, any public online? Andrew?
Andrew's online. Andrew McBride, Cam.
And that's it. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, let's have Tim read this in.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment. Hearing none, we'll move to number 3, review and approval of the final budget for fiscal year 27. For discussion and possible action.
Okay, so this is the budget. We had to make a few updates. If you remember, you already approved the budget once, and then we wanted to update it to include the the SB 389 money that came in for retention and recruitment, as well as we recognized we had failed. Andrew, Colleen, and I realized we had failed to put in the dollar amount for the audit, which is we'll talk about later, but we needed to update that. Then, based on enrollment projections, which we'll talk a little bit more about in detail, but we upped our enrollment projections to the number of students. That says 123. Hey, Andrew, I just noticed that needs to say 120. But we've updated our budget. That $1,271,000 number is off. We're running off of 120 students for next year. So that changed our budget, just changed how much we would have to draw out of our donation account. And then you'll notice here, lower 9 something, I feel like. It was based off of, I didn't bring all of that.
But this is several students more.
I think we based off of 112, and now we're basing it off of 120, I believe.
20, is that what you said?
Mhm.
Are the numbers that we're looking at here based on 120 or 123?
120. That's what it would. This is.
Why is that?
Just didn't change the number.
Yeah, this didn't get changed.
When was this sent out for review?
Monday. I sent it.
So the per student funding is $10,091.93. That's right.
That's the estimate that we're running with. Yes, we don't know the actual dollar amount yet.
Oh,
Yeah, so the 10,091, that was for 25-26, and the 10,233, that's for 26-27. And that should be actual.
Hold on,
You have to
Andrew.
wait, you're on speaker.
I gotta get your speaker on better. Hold on. Stand by.
The heat forward. Right?
Oh, it's flowing this way too.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Hold on.
rid of that one. This is just audio. I don't think visual.
We shut down quick. Right? Oh,
Okay, now speak, Andrew.
Moment of truth.
Yeah, so the
Perfect.
10,090, the 10,091, that was for 2025, 2026. And so the new amount is 10,233, and that should be, I pulled that from the state, so that should be exactly what you guys get, as far as I know. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, hold on. So I was on the, sorry, you guys, I had pulled up the wrong. Just kidding. This is the one we want to do. Here we go. Okay.
Okay.
So, and then this, we remember this is here, the 43,000. This is the SB, or excuse me, AB 380 398 funds that we needed to add in.
Mhm.
And then down here, under fiscal services, we have added in that's 25,000 for the audit that we have to do this year. So those have been added in.
And that $25,000 is that a figure that's been given to us by this audit company? And
Mhm.
we're stuck with that?
Even though it's such a small school, that seems like a significant amount for a small school.
That's actually I think that's a good deal.
Really?
But yeah, audits they're usually expensive.
Yeah. I can appreciate that. They're very thorough. They spend a lot of time. They look through every nook and cranny, but
You know, I was just
Yeah,
cost upon
and
us.
there's only like 5 or 6 firms that do these audits, and I think that's actually gonna be the better pricing, to be honest with you. But I mean, you're welcome to. I know CLA does. You're welcome to shop around, but
Well, they were recommended and Jason and those folks, right?
They were recommended by EIA, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's the same one they use.
Probably shopped around. So
Yeah.
I have a-
And there is, like Andrew said, there's an approved list. Only certain firms can do it per NDE. So it's
Yeah, as long as there's some kind of accountability somewhere along the line for hiring this firm, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
other than that, everything, as far as I know, everything else stayed the same. Those were the only changes that we made. From the budget that you had approved previously. This will be transferred from this PDF summary sheet into the Excel with, remember, all the tabs. So Andrew and Colleen will make sure that these get transferred to all of the tabs correctly. And then that's what we submit to the actual state. But this way you can see it in a more summarized fashion than all
The
of those.
Excel file's not prepared yet.
And we're waiting to get the approval for this, if I understand. It
Yeah.
has been approved. I mean, it has been prepared. We just need to put these final updated numbers in it. Because remember, last board meeting, we looked through all those tabs. So but we had the aha that we needed to update a few things.
yeah, so we'll update the Excel spreadsheet once the final budget's approved.
Well, I will entertain a motion when you guys are ready.
And you have printed versions of this in your notebook under current,
I saw, but I printed that out. I can't read that.
you know.
Big eyes. Bless you.
I tried. Yeah, I needed, but I just thought maybe, can you give me that number? What was our
25,750
25,700?
under current tab. I think it's under current meeting.
Yeah. Right. I printed
I was gonna print it too.
I gave it my best shot, truthfully.
I appreciate that. They get small fast.
Holy smokes, yeah. Bigger font.
Sweating down my butt right now. So.
That, or
Look
we
at
are
it.
being caught being human and I can print one.
Yeah,
Does
we
anyone want
really
to
went
print
through this thoroughly last month. And we had a couple of recommendations.
You can look at this one.
There you go.
Just make sure I get that one back. That one has a bunch of my notes on it.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I think I didn't share this with you.
Oh, and then we have to make sure we get that signed if it's passed. Oh, can you hand this to Dorothy? Well, that's why it's there.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Do we all sign this?
I think everyone can, yes. But wait till it passes so we are all.
Absolutely. Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know I'm beating a dead horse, but I have to ask again. How do they create the classification for special ed funding? Because that number is appallingly low, and I know it's an unfunded mandate, and I know the school district deals with this as well. But how can they justify that amount based on the needs of these special ed students? Does the state know that special ed is underfunded? Oh, yes.
The state 100% knows that special ed is underfunded, and one of our epicenter reports that we're actually currently working on is excess sped costs. So we will be turning in a report separate from all of this that alerts the SPCSA and then NDE to the excess costs that we have spent on sped. So and they are actively working on trying to figure out how to do better at that.
They as in SPCSA or?
SPCSA and NDE. It's a whole list. It's
More
been
of
a
a
problem
hybrid.
for generations.
Oh, I know,
It's not a new
I know.
thing.
But to see an actual number up
Yeah.
there and then to see what we're dealing with,
Mhm.
it's maddening.
And it's been happening since 1974,
Yeah,
so
the
I don't
2027
anticipate
budget for
whatever they're gonna do is gonna
Like
make a
a-
difference.
That's the
Turnaround.
money
Yeah,
we get
it's
from,
out of
it's called
control.
IDEA Part B. That's a federal money that we get
And
per
that's all,
by sped student.
that's all you
Yeah.
get?
Yeah,
That's an estimate,
so it
but
comes
yeah.
out of your general
Yeah.
fund,
But that's for speech and language, right?
everything,
Okay,
all the way up to most intense
right,
special ed,
right.
OT.
essentially criminal, whatever, but
Yeah.
Okay.
everything. Yeah, any
Well, I'm on the
testing you have
record
to
for I
do.
think It's appalling.
Yes, good.
Yeah, and especially in our circumstance. I mean, it's one thing to be in the general population of the Elko County School District, but here, I mean, that's pretty significant.
Sort of a class action lawsuit by
Every district.
every district,
school.
non-special ed impacted clients.
Is how you'd have to go about it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
For, yeah,
Case closed.
yes, so motion for the final budget for fiscal year 2027.
I'll move to accept the budget as amended from the last meeting.
Second,
I'll second.
okay, motion from Tim, second from Lisa, any discussion?
Yeah, I have some concerns with this, and not specifically the numbers on the screens. I have concerns with those as well, but more procedurally with how we got to this point. And now we're being asked to approve a document that has errors on the screen that we found, maybe errors we haven't found. Was sent out 24 hours ago. I don't think anybody here has had time to review this in depth in 24 hours. That's a problem. Further, it has to be transcribed to an Excel sheet, which we're not going to have any control over, any oversight over. We already see there are transcription errors. Are there going to be more transcription errors there? I don't know. I won't have the option to find it out if we approve this.
Am I remembering this correctly, that this has to be approved at a certain timeline, Brandon?
June 1st, right?
It's due to the state. Is it June 1st, Andrew?
Colleen, are you there? So the upload has to be by June 15th, the Excel file. It does. Colleen, can you hear me?
I thought that's
It's
the week of
June
May.
8th. It's due to the state by June 8th.
When does it have to be approved in an open meeting?
Before June, it's before June 8th.
So if they don't,
Well, go ahead, Andrew.
so if they have another meeting, it can be before June 8th, Colleen,
Mhm.
It
to
needs
do
to
the
be,
updates.
Yeah, it can be, they can have a special meeting they can have another special meeting, but it has to be before the end of May. So we have time to get it into the format too, because we have to have it in that special spreadsheet format and be submitted no later than 5 o'clock on June 8th. So it has to
Okay.
be approved before November, by the 31st.
All budgets are a best guess. You know what I mean? They're based on what you
Okay, they're-
anticipate, what you
Best
think.
guess.
But it's not like when you set a budget for your company, or I set a budget for the school district when I worked with the school district, you're not locked in. It's not like, oh, wow, you said you were going to spend that much on salaries and now you've just added a teacher. Can't
Well,
do it.
That's
You know, it's a
one
snapshot.
of the issues I have with how we handle a budget is, I wouldn't call it a best guess, I would call it a best intention.
Okay.
And if you deviate from that, there better be a plan for how you handle that deviation. We can't say, oh, we gotta hire another teacher, we hire another teacher. Okay, where's that money coming from?
Correct. That's our role. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like we've been doing a good job for that. When I give my cash on hand report, you're gonna see why I'm so worked up about this right now.
Okay.
So I think there are several things that are failing in our financial management system. And I don't feel like we have really been giving the budget its due. I feel like we've been treating this as a formality we have to provide to the state. We'll sort of take a wag at it and hope that it's good enough and deal with it later.
Yeah.
That is the wrong mentality to approach this with. And I understand that this is probably 98% the same as what we had previously, but this is the final one that we're approving, and we've had effectively 24 hours or less to look at it.
Well, we had it in front of us last month, but we came up with a couple of things we wanted to adjust.
Right.
And then what we probably need to do is to have, what we used to do in the districts is have finance like what they call them, I'm blanking out, but retreat. We'd have an actual like a half-day retreat where we would sit down and dive into everything.
Seemed like we talked about that.
Yes, and then it was less formal. It was still,
Yeah.
somewhat formal, but you could really say, okay, what's it? And we look at all the different factors, what's going on with our enrollment, what's going on with our finances. And you'd spend 2-3 hours really making sure the wheels were oiled, and to me, I don't want to call it a formality because I don't want to not make, the importance of it, but it's nothing that can't be changed. It's just something that has to be submitted. I know that, like, if I'm doing a household budget for the year, I'm going to submit it. And then all of a sudden a hot water heater goes out. You know what I mean? Or, hey, we got a little extra here. Let's put it. You're constantly making adjustments. I think that's where my apprehension and maybe yours is that we need to get a better handle on the whole year.
Right. And I don't,
Because this isn't written into anything that we're locked into. Does that
Right,
make
but I
sense?
think what Hank's saying, at least if I'm hearing you correctly, is that we need to have some sort of procedure in place for dealing with these changes in the
Yeah.
budget, especially when you look at what happened early on with our faculty and how many
Yeah,
teachers and aides we had to add because of all the sped students.
that's right.
I mean, that
That's brutal.
created a big problem in terms of our budget.
and
And we didn't deal with it very well because we didn't have any kind of procedures in place to deal with it. But as a board, I think we better figure it out.
Yeah, especially when it's unfunded. I mean, it's like, that's
yeah,
a
and
punch in the gut.
it is unfunded. We don't have money to cover it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that that's been considered in here. And I see there's at least 3,500 or something budgeted for additional sped teacher training and other things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not trying to say that this is terrible. I'm just saying that I'm not convinced that we have really done justice to it for what this really should represent. And I'm not gonna ask the board to table it. I'm, not gonna say we don't pass it because I understand we need to get this provided to the state. But I think as a board, and this is probably on me as treasurer, more so, we need to make sure we get better oversight of our funds from budget through to expense. And Brandel and I have been working on that a little bit. I think Mark Paris has some concerns, so I think he wants to be involved in that conversation.
Maybe a quarterly retreat, honestly, just because this is our make or break, is our finances.
Well, and I have to say that for the last meeting, I mean, I voted to approve it, but I really considered abstaining. Because like I said, first of all, I can't see these figures. I never got a good answer to where those funds were going, except that finally it went to, there was a big portion that went to CAM, which made sense.
Mhm.
But there were professional fees, and that was a huge number.
Mhm.
And so I think that, and I don't think this reflects on you, Brandolyn, whatsoever. And as far as CAM goes, I mean, we hire you, we pay you. I mean, it's our job to make sure that you're doing what we think is good for the school. So I do think that something like a retreat where we sit down and look at these numbers, not just get these numbers on their screen.
Yep.
And even if it was a month ago, I bet you nobody, I certainly haven't gone back and looked at these numbers.
So then some of it,
Until
we have to
yesterday.
fall on our own sword because we're provided the information and we're saying we haven't looked at it. And so it's kind of on us too. I do like the idea of a retreat with big and large, and we take a
Yeah.
look at it, and that's maybe where we can, when the, student numbers start coming in, and we can look for possible cost savings and that takes some weight off of you guys too, because you
Yeah.
kind of know our direction.
And just
Maybe in
personally,
June.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a school person, so
Yeah.
I mean, I need some explanations.
Yeah.
But I don't
Which would
feel
help.
comfortable asking minute questions in these presentations because I don't understand enough of the background. But if we had a board retreat,
Yeah,
I would feel much more comfortable in digging to the bottom of some of this.
agreed.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
the way to go. And then, and maybe quarterly until we really start getting comfortable with knowing what everything, and that'd be great if we get a new board member. We come in,
start that out.
we either do something where we do it after one of these normal meetings, or we do it, on another day from, evening, whatever works.
Yeah, and I think another day, I mean, you smash too much into one day and eat up it.
Yeah.
And then in this case in particular, and I'm gonna throw a little bit of shade onto Cam here. When we passed the preliminary budget and we're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna make these few adjustments to the final budget, I asked for a copy of that and I asked for the Excel sheet in advance so I could do risk analysis on it. I was told I would have that. I got this 24 hours ago and we don't have an Excel sheet that's completed after I was told I was having. And that is a recurring problem. Yeah, we don't get what we're told in a timely manner, but yet we're paying them a lot. That's a problem.
So there's Andrew and Colleen, some feedback for them too.
Well, they
So
should have,
what were you looking for? You're looking for the Excel budget sheet?
Yeah,
That's correct. The final, because I want to do risk analysis on the final budget. So we know things change.
then he wanted the Excel spreadsheet so he could run it through his.
You're saying the Excel spreadsheet that we sent to the state?
Yes, because that is the actual thing that's in front of the state. That is the
Yeah.
final document. That is the right one to perform risk analysis on.
Yeah, so that spreadsheet takes some time to populate, and you have to
I'm sure it's,
transfer.
what are we paying you guys money for?
Yeah.
So we can put it in that format first and just give you that format. We put it in this format because it's a little easier to understand, but we're happy to put it in the other format, and then we don't have to put it in this format. And then we can send just that sheet to you if you would like in the future.
Yeah, and I think there's a good summary on the front page of that. That is maybe a little more confusing business, but I board is full capable of understanding.
If we did a retreat, we'd have time to dig in and
Yes.
really look at line items.
But now we're going to approve this without any sort of stochastic analysis done on it because we didn't have the document in time. But yet our contract for CAM increases.
Yeah. So the budget, you can anytime you can have a special meeting and amend the budget. It's not something that's set in stone. And there was just a couple changes to this, and you guys are welcome to schedule another meeting. And I can send this in Excel, this format in Excel, if you want to use this format to do the analysis.
Well, no, I want to see the exact document the state is getting. And I would like to have seen it before we approve it. And again, I understand there are only minor changes from this in the preliminary one we did approve, but there are changes in it. And as we've seen, there
Were
are.
you able to do the analysis on the last Excel file that was sent?
So I did not do anything with that one because it was preliminary. I wanted to wait before the final was under the understanding it would happen. However, the previous year, yeah, I did the Monte Carlo analysis on the final state version of the document of the Excel spreadsheet.
well, it'd be my thought that, we've got a lot of problems on the table. But I think that we're gonna have to approve this budget.
Yeah, call the question.
Yeah, it doesn't make, I think Hank's made some great points. I think we all understand that there are some big holes here. But I don't see, we're not gonna get another, this is Memorial Day weekend, next week's, I don't think we're gonna get another meeting call in a week.
No,
I just don't think,
no.
I don't see that happening.
But
So, I mean, I think we need, going forward, we need, as a board, better accountability. And we need, like Amy said, we need to fall on the sword our own selves.
Mhm.
And if we need to hold Cam more accountable and get more documentation, then it needs to be done. But at this point, we are pretty much without too many choices
Bound
regardless.
by a time constraint.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody's done budgets, but some more complicated than others. And like you were saying, Amy, things do change, but we have to sit down quickly and decide how we're gonna deal with these changes when they occurred as a board.
Yeah.
And figure out how to make this work, because it's not, Hank's made great points here, and it's not gonna help us. We're gonna go through all of our money like Grant went through Richmond, and it's not gonna be pretty.
And to your point, the United States Constitution can change, and it does change. But to change that is a serious thing. And in my opinion, that's how we need to treat the budget. Yes, it can change, but if we're going to change things, we better do a pretty damn thorough review of what's being changed, why it's being changed, and how those
How we're gonna fund it.
exactly.
Well, the changes generally come from the outside in public education. It's not us deciding to, oh, what, never mind, we're gonna fund this instead of that. But all of a sudden enrollment, special ed, other factors come in. And so then we need to be better at saying, this change occurred. We just found out our special ed numbers. We had budgeted for 11% and we have 23% of our students are special ed. We need to have a retreat. We need to put our heads together. We need to figure out how we're going to make this work. And it's all been falling on Brandolin. So, yeah. And then Cam's responsive to that to the best of their ability, but ultimately it's our role.
Yes.
It's our role.
And not the point for this conversation now. We talked about, Brandon and I talked about a finance committee. I said, in my opinion, I don't think it was necessary yet. Based on what I'm saying now, maybe we need to reconsider that, and maybe that would be a more appropriate thing for a finance committee rather than the entire board on a board retreat specifically for the budget. Maybe that's something different.
Because if it's a board retreat, it's public and
Or
not that it's a big deal.
yeah, and maybe a finance committee, if it's a committee of this board, will still have to be public and all of that.
Yeah,
But
so it's
maybe there's a way to set up that committee, have you do the first deep dive, and then we do a board retreat, maybe in July or August before the school starts.
There you go.
And then we can look and make sort of the decisions as a group, but not necessarily dig into the fine detail with the whole board.
And easier to get 3 people on a committee together.
Correct.
Yeah.
You can even have 4 as long as they're not board members. You could bring Joe in
Yeah.
or somebody that you know from Mark. Yeah, it can be 4 or 5 people. Just make sure you have one school administrator or district administrator, because we understand the nuances of it. Yeah. Oh, speak of the Joe. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Okay, so all in favor of approving the final budget for fiscal year 2027, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Hank's abstaining, so budget passes. Okay, number 4, public comment. Is there any public comment on this particular meeting? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned at 2:31. And that's perfect because 2:30 starts the next meeting. What time that one was. Okay, this I'm going to sign and send around for everybody to sign.
Hold on, let me stop the recording and start again. So give me just a half a second.
No problem. And yes, it's 98 degrees in here, as you guys were thinking.
It's warming up.
Yeah. Somewhere. I'll let her do the rest. Ooh,
Glad I brought a cold drink.
when we were downstairs, we freeze to death. Now up here, we're cooking.